Ooh, jump scare! Yes, that's right, I'm back, and that's because all my university submissions have ended. I've finished my final semester in university, so I can be back on track with content creation. So that means Arknights Weekly is gonna return every single week to deliver you guys the greatest Arknights news. And I've also updated a few things, like for example my wall over there. So there's those two lovely posters of Shu and Surtur, they're drawn by Leviathan, and he is someone that I met at Indonesia's Komifuro. It was a fantastic event, I enjoyed it, and thank you to everyone who came down to see me on that day itself. But speaking of events, that leads to the first piece of news. So Yostar is going to be visiting two conventions in Southeast Asia. The first is going to be Anime Festival Asia Singapore, and the second is Comic Fiesta Malaysia. Supposedly the side-by-side, Malaysia and Singapore, so probably that's why they're doing a bit of a tour in those two countries. It's the first time that Yostar finally set up store within Southeast Asia, so this is going to be pretty exciting. And at the same time, I will be attending both of those events. So for Singapore Anime Festival Asia, I'll be attending on Friday and Saturday, but I'll dedicate a time on Saturday if any of you want to specially meet me. The details of that will be on Discord. And then for Malaysia's Comic Fiesta, I will also be attending it. It's going to be one of my first few times in Kuala Lumpur. I visited it before when I was younger, but this is the first time in a long while that I go back there again. So I'm very excited to see those of you who live in Malaysia as well. Now when it comes to the Yostar store, there's going to be merchandise that you can buy from there, all the AK official merch. There isn't anything exclusive to Southeast Asia, unfortunately, and the prices are about the same as the Yostar store, with the exception that you no longer pay for shipping fees, but you still have to pay for the entrance fee to the convention if you care about that. Of course, I'll be visiting both booths, so if you do happen to see me there, feel free to say hi, chat with me, you want some pictures. I'm not that much of a fan of pictures, but if you want it, sure, I'm okay to take it with you guys. So hope to see you guys there, and I will do a review of both of those events when they have happened. Question of the week. This is a very overdue question because I haven't posted weekly in a while, so let's answer it now. What's my opinion on 5 stars? Are 5 stars way too expensive to build? Is there any point to build them? My opinion to 5 stars is that they've always been seen like the flavor picks, the fun units to play. It is true that 6 stars are always the busted ones, the very powerful ones, so you will definitely build them. And then when it comes to 4 stars, they are the low cost. Maybe you use them for things like IS because they don't cost as much hope, or in the upcoming IS version, they don't even cost hope at all. So it's very tempting to just use 4 stars as one of the starter units in that kind of game mode, and even the other game modes as well. So for 5 stars, I always thought of it that if you have some extra resources and you feel like building certain units, you can go ahead and do so and try to main them, like play them as much as you can. But if you don't want to build them, you don't have to feel all too bad. I see of it as a bonus for maybe the mid-game players, like the far-end mid-game players or the late-game players, where you've already built most of the units that you want, then you look into the 5 stars, you see, hey, there's this unit that has some quirky skill, I kind of want to use them, then that's how you can add some more enjoyment into your gameplay. But do I encourage people to build 5 stars? Absolutely, because they don't exactly ruin the gameplay all that much. Honestly, it's very fun once you get to learn them. Again, they're not as powerful as the 6-star counterparts, but I think the joy in Arknights is really about learning what every single unit can do in the game and how they synergize with each other. So, most like question of this week will be what I have to answer next week. Okay, next up, let's talk about the Limbus Company x Arknights collab. Most of you have already heard of this, but if you're hearing for the first time, congratulations, now you know. So, Limbus Company is choosing to collaborate with Arknights with the exception that it's a one-way collab. That means Arknights receive nothing. Limbus receives everything on their end, and what they're gonna get is that for certain of their characters, they're gonna receive variants of those characters featuring AK units. So 4 of their characters are going to transform into certain AK units, and there will be storyline involved, as well as one of the AK characters being an announcer. Supposedly that's going to be Amiya, that's what everyone's guessing. And there will be a dedicated event story as well. But AK is choosing not to do anything within this collab. The producer himself, Lola, has already stated so. Is there a chance that AK will do anything? Maybe, but honestly speaking, if the producer is very quick to mention it, I'm just gonna assume that there is nothing that's gonna happen for a while now, at least not in the next year, because this collab is gonna happen within September and October of 2025. There's still a 9 months leeway until then. But for those of you who play Limbus Company, I hope you get to enjoy it over there, where I play it myself just to see what the event is like. I might, because I'm curious to see how Limbus pulls off the story involving AK. But this is just to inform you guys that AK will get nothing. Okay, next up, the Abyssal Hunter event. That's right, it means the last Abyssal Hunter has finally arrived into Arknights, and that is Ulpianus himself. I'm very excited to play this event because it's so good to be able to use him and the full Abyssal Hunter squad. So this event is called Path of Life. It's gonna last from the 3rd of December all the way to the 17th of December, and it's just a regular side story. So your usual normal stages as well as EX stages, as you can see over here, are all going to happen. And there isn't all too much side stuff that happens within it. There might be a login event, but apart from that, it's just your regular farming time. You play out all of the stages, get the event currency, and buy out the store. So that's what you kind of need to note. For the materials that you can farm in the event, it's going to be Crystalline Element, Sugar Pack, as well as Loxico. So if you're short of any of them, you can play either BP5, BP6, or BP7 in order to grab them. So this is the PV for Path of Life as you see over here. And there's going to be new skins that you can grab as well. So 4 characters within this event are getting skins. None of them have L2D. It's all 18 OP, 15 OP stuff. So there's Melonite, as you see over there. There's going to be Penance. And then, of course, the big hype one for a lot of people is going to be Gladia. And finally, there's also Green Buds that you can grab. If you're not giving me any question of the week, feel free to comment as to what you think towards the Path of Life event. Are you excited for it? Are you skipping the banner? Why would you skip the banner? Tell me about it. I want to read all your opinions to the upcoming event. Okay, last piece of news, and this one's a little bit on the wild side. It's not often that you hear negative news with regards to Hypergryph, but something did happen in the recent Arknights event. So the recent event was the Lapland Outer one, the Syracuse event, and there were very creative medal sets that you can find from there. If we look at the medals themselves, there are some that involves these hand signs to express emotions in a sense. And it just so happened that some players figured it looks way too similar to a known illustrator. So the illustrator, I believe, is called Rokas, and an Arknights player actually issued an email to that illustrator asking whether Hypergryph got permission in order to use his assets in a sense. And there was a reply where the illustrator stated he's aware of the situation and is discussing with the company. So it turns out that the social manager issued a statement stating that the in-game medals were used to pretty much reference to the illustrator, but this was done without permission. So the company has directly apologized to the illustrator, and not just apologized, but also paid asset usage fees. And I do believe that you have to pay higher for such a mistake that was done. I don't think this was done with like the artist necessarily wanting to plagiarize, but I think it's more of maybe taking inspiration and then not understanding that you can't just do this without taking permission on someone. Always ask for permission if you happen to take inspiration or has some form of copying with another illustrator. But I'm kind of glad that at least they made this a bit amicable. But I hope Hypergryph doesn't have this kind of situation again. Again, it's such a wonderful piece, right? I would have loved if they collaborated with the illustrator instead in order to make these medals come true in a sense. So that's just a little piece of news for you guys to know. For us in the global server, we will likely be receiving the change of the medals immediately. So the medals have been changed over in CN, and then when we receive it in global, we will see the reflected changes once the event has arrived. So anyways, that is all the news that you need to get from this Arknights Weekly. I hope you guys are happy that it's back. Let me know your thoughts to what you've heard, and I'll see you in the next Arknights Weekly. I'll do my best to post it always within the front of every single week, so you guys will have a bit more of a constant timing of when to catch it, and I'll try to post it at reset timing as well. So anyways, hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.